I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here. But then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, hello, my favorite fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio, somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Wednesday, hump day for some of us. July the 8th in the year of our Lord 2015. If you wish to call me this evening, the number is toll free 603-835-3224, 603-835-3224. And I know everybody's still talking about Trump. I had a couple of people ask me today, man, I heard your show last night, Rod. Did you bust a bubble or a blood vessel in your head or something, man? You sounded like you were off. I had one person say, you sounded like you were off the chain. Isn't off the chain a good thing? And he was like, no, not this kind of. I mean, you were going off the cliff, man. Sounded like you were ready to take up arms or something, take up the gun and start a revolutionary war. I said, well, that's probably what something that we need to come close to, a new type of revolution without actually, shedding any blood. We don't need another civil war or war between the states, but we do need some sort of a revolution that changes things and brings things back into perspective. Look, you had Hillary Clinton on CNN, and no, I did not watch it. She is just, look, all the important stuff that I need to know about her or of what she says, I will hear. Trust me, I will hear it. I just cannot sit there on purpose and watch that woman for more than 5 minutes. I can't. Look, there are a few people that I say I know. Now, I don't know Hillary Clinton personally, but obviously I know Hillary Clinton. But there are very few people that I know either personally or just know them that I can honestly say I completely and utterly despise. I completely and utterly despise this woman. I cannot. It comes to the point where it's near pure hatred. And you probably heard. I know my mother said it, and just as your mom probably said. Hate's a strong word. Never say hate, because hate means that you hoped and wished that they were dead and you wouldn't care. And that I don't want to see her pass away. I don't. I mean, look, she's getting old. What is she, 68 or something? Of course, just like all of us, she's going to naturally pass. But I don't want to see harm come to her. Now, there are a few people in history that I'm glad harm came to them. Adolf Hitler. Glad that he died sooner rather than later. But I don't wish ill will or physical harm to come to Hillary Clinton. But I just don't want her to be any. If we had such a thing as exile, I would exile her. I'd send her off to live the rest of her days peacefully and quietly on some remote island somewhere, kind of like they did to Napoleon. I'd exile her. I'd make sure that she has a very comfortable, very healthy life that isn't prematurely shortened, but that she has all the creature comforts that she needs to stay in exile. I'd just ship her off somewhere. This woman doesn't deserve to be in the United States of America. She doesn't deserve to benefit from all that the United States has to look. I know you're born here and you're a citizen, but it's still a privilege to be an American citizen. This woman will lie and obfuscate at the drop of a hat. That's not the American way. I'm sorry, it's not. No, she's out there saying, "Well, I had no subpoena." Really? You didn't get a subpoena for all your crap, your emails and everything. Are you? Does she really believe? Well, there are some idiots out there who are going to believe her. They are, they're going to. Yeah, she didn't get a subpoena. Yes, she did. I mean, it was in the. This is the reason. This is the reason why we're having so much trouble in the United States today. Because people, they will deny something. They will say, "I didn't say that." And then you go, "Hold on, rewind." And you rewind the tape. And you point out in the tape what they said. And then they'll look at you and say, "Well, no, I didn't say that. That's not me." They'll look you dead in the eye and say that they didn't say something that they're on recording, on video, on film, on tape as having said. And they will still tell you they didn't say it. And there are some people out there in this country who will believe them. And they will argue with you to the ends of the earth. They did not say that. He did not say that. She did not say. Well, look. Here it is right here. Listen to it again. You play. That's not him or that's not her. Like, well, who the hell is it? You may be able to say that there's a voice impersonator, but come on, there's video with this. And, when it comes to the president, he's standing at the the presidential podium with the presidential seal in the White House. How is that not him? But this, it's this type of, somebody once told me, "Rod, it's witchcraft." I did, laugh loudly at that. It was quite a guffaw. Yeah, no. But, sometimes you have to look at the state of people. You have to watch them. One of the things I find that is fascinating to me is I'm a people watcher. I am fascinated by watching people watching somebody else. And sometimes when you see people watching Barack Obama when he's giving his speech, it is remember the Indiana Jones movie. They're all they're in the temple and it's Kali Ma. That's kind of was that Indiana Jones? Yeah, I think it was Indiana Jones. But it's the same thing with the Mummy. The Mummy movies where the people, the boils on them and they're Emotep. This is what they look like sometimes when they're looking at Obama. And you got to wonder, man, is there really such a thing as real witchcraft, and or is there such a thing as real mass hypnosis? Because you're looking at them watching this guy, and you swear that they're under some sort of spell by the look in their eyes and by the look on their face. They are just, it's kind of, I mean, you might as well just say Kalima. I mean, watch people sometimes. And it's not just with Obama. Don't get me wrong. It's happened with other political and, entertainment people. Hillary Clinton kind of has the same thing. Nowhere near on the level as Barack Obama, but she still has her Kalima followers that just look at her and say, "Oh, she's so wonderful." I mean, are you kidding me? This woman has lied, obfuscated. She has been accused. She has refused to cooperate with legal entities all across this country for decades, and yet we're supposed to believe that she's an honest, straightforward, open person? And she'll lie to you right to your face with a smile on her face and say, "I didn't have a subpoena," when everybody knows, everybody in their, even the child that was just born yesterday knows that Clinton had a subpoena, multiple subpoenas for multiple different things, including, her email thing. "I didn't know it was I didn't break any law." Yeah, you did break a law. The law is specifically clear about what you can and cannot do on your own when you're doing government business, and how the email stuff, how you have to do it. You have to do it on a government server. You can't do it on your own server. If you do it on your own server, the government says you got to turn all that crap over. That's the law. And she's saying, well, there is no law. And people are saying, yeah, there's no law. She didn't have to. She was really kind by turning over 50,000 emails. 50,000 useless emails. Where are the other 50,000 that can incriminate her? I mean, this is what I'm talking about. We have this. It is this celebrityification. Yeah, that's a George Bush word, I guess. A celebrityification of our politicos. Now they're all that Obama's a rock star. I don't ever want to hear of my leader, my political leaders, my statesmen. So people are supposed to be statesmen. Is being called a rock star. A rock star is out there to entertain you, not to lead and govern you. Yeah, Obama's a rock star. Fine, great. Let him put out an album. Hope it goes number one. I don't care. But right now he's the president of the United States. I don't want to hear that he's a rock star. That's not the proper descript of the president of the United States, or a senator, or a congressman, or a governor. I don't want to. No, they're not rock stars. Oh yeah, they're a rising star in the ranks of the. I don't want to hear this rising star crap. He's not a rising. Bobby Jindals. He's a rising star. No, he's not. He's not a rising star. He is just out there saying stuff that he truly believes in because he has a belief in constitutional conservatism. That's not a rising star. That's just him being him. He's not a rock star. There is no putting him on a pedestal or a podium. Look, it's just the same with the GOP. You can't make somebody bigger than life, because then their head gets too big and they lose touch with reality and who the people are. Obama has no clue who the people are and what the people want. He just does what he wants to because, hey, I'm a rock star. And everybody says, everybody is so proud of me. And they should be proud of me. Because I'm the best. I'm the biggest. I'm the baddest. I'm the greatest. And, I'm the president. I can do what I want. No, you can't. That's not the way it works. At least that's not the way it's supposed to work. You're supposed to answer to the people that you're leading, or to the people that you want to lead. You don't get to say, well, I'm not turning this over, or I'm not talking about this subject, and I'm not talking about... No, bullshit. You talk about any damn thing I want you to talk about. If you want my vote and you end up being elected to lead me and my people, wherever my people are, whether it be, in my city or town or my county or my state or at the federal level, you work for me. You will answer every damn question I have for you. You do not get to tell me. Now, I don't need to answer that. Yes, you do. Unless it's a real matter of national security and certain things have to be secret, fine, I get it. But otherwise, if I'm asking you a non-sensitive, non-secretive question, you have an obligation as my employee. Yes, that's right, Mr. Obama. You are the people's employee. You have an obligation to answer. Hillary Clinton, if you want to be the people's employee as president of the United States, you have an obligation to answer their questions whenever they ask them of you. You don't get to dictate that you're going to sit down in front of your liberal friend somewhere because you don't want to be asked certain questions. No. You don't get to to dictate the questions that are asked to you. See, this is why I don't like doing interviews with people. Because, a lot of times what they want is they want you to give them the questions ahead of time. Oh, hell no. I'm not giving you any questions ahead of time. You are not going to prepare a polished answer to every question I might ask. Not going to do it. I want your answers that my questions are going to be off the cuff. They're going to be tough, straight to the point, and I want you to be honest about your answers. And the only way that I know that you're even going to be close to being honest is if you're not prepared for them, you're caught off guard. But see, a lot of people, a lot of politicians won't do it that way because they're fake, people. They are fake. And this is what my problem with the GOP candidates last night was on the program when I was blasting them for blasting Donald Trump. You've got this woman on the Democratic side lying through her freaking teeth, and none of them are jumping on this woman for her lies that she told. I haven't heard a single Republican candidate, the polished politicians, I haven't heard them respond to Hillary Clinton. But they'll jump down Donald Trump's throat for telling the truth. Yeah, maybe he didn't say it in beautiful, eloquent soliloquies, but he said it anyway in a manner in which that most of the American people could fully understand, and they did. And lo and behold, most of the American people agree with him. And yet you've got all these Americans who are agreeing with Donald Trump. They're thrusting him upwards in the polls. And you still have most of the GOP candidates out there talking about how bad Donald Trump is. And he shouldn't have said that. And he shouldn't have said this. Are you paying attention to what the people that you want to vote for you are telling you? They are telling you Donald Trump is right. And yet you want to be polished. Oh, no. We can't say it that way. Oh, bullshit. Just say it anyway that is clear and concise. You don't got to be pretty about it. Just tell the truth. That's exactly what he did. As opposed to Hillary Rodham Clinton, who went on a well-rehearsed and well-planned interview over on CNN and lied through her freaking teeth. And nobody's calling her out on it. This is why I'm saying we're sitting in that Indiana Jones temple where all the American people are just going to Kalima, Kalima. Yeah. I don't know how else to explain. I don't know how else to explain it, really. I mean, it's hilarious. If it wasn't so truthful and so dangerous, it would be a comedy. But in retrospect, looking back and looking forward, it's going to be remembered as being a tragedy, not a comedy. I don't. This whole notion that, everybody's got to, who's going to run for, well, he doesn't seem to be very presidential. What is that supposed to mean? What exactly does being presidential? Oh, does it mean being polished and faked and practiced and rehearsed? Being trained to be president from birth. Kind of like royalty. Yeah. No, that's not what presidential is. No, presidential is supposed to be leading the American people and doing doing what is in the best interest of the American people and this country, this nation, this union. That's being presidential. Not being so eloquent. Look, if I were president, half the world's leaders, I'd go tell them to F off. And I would use that word. I'd drop the F-bomb on them. And I know some people think, well, Rod, that's not dignified. Who the hell? We're not talking about dignity here. We're talking about life and death. We're talking about people's freedom and liberty. We're talking about our nation. If Putin doesn't like it, too bad. He can go F off. Whoever's in charge of China, they can go F off. You've got to be. They're being this tough with us. Why can't we be just as tough or even tougher with them? And the Castro brothers come wringing their hands and saying, look, you've got to lift your embargo because the entire world has lifted their embargo. You know what? I'd look at good old the Castro brothers and say, you know what? You're probably right. This embargo really isn't working. But we're not going to open diplomatic relations like this. You are going to do this, this, and this if you want the United States help. Plain and simple. And you're going to leave office. If not, F off. Get out of here. Go home. I don't want to talk to you. Look, Obama did it to Benjamin Netanyahu. Why can't he do it to the Castros? I look at Iran. I'd say, look, Iran, this is going to be the deal. You are not getting a nuke. Got it? Get it? Good. If you want a nuke, you try to get a nuke, we will bomb you back into the Stone Age. Period. Here's the deal. Sign it. If not, F off. You'll be seeing our bombs in about 24 hours. That's it. That's how you negotiate with criminals, thugs, and bullies. Plain and simple. Rod, that's not pretty and dignified. No, screw the pretty and dignified. That's how you deal with them. And no, for the last time, New Hampshire people, I am not running for public office. I probably now I'm probably getting that question about once a week now. Are you running? Would you run? Would you consider running? Why don't you run? Why don't you run here? We could use you here. We could use you here in this place. No, I'm not running. I don't want to. I think I can do a lot more for my state and my country right behind the Freedom microphone, sitting in the Freedom throne in the bunkerized home studio than I could, being some little cog in the state assembly. That's just the way I feel about it. But no, I'm that's even if I was running, I'd be the same way. You would get the same thing from me. I wouldn't be any different. And that some people are saying, well, that's why we want you to run. No. I don't. Look. I give Donald credit because he's running for president. He evidently he wants the job. He wants the American people to say you're hired. But you know what? That's going to be a tremendously humongous pay cut for him. It really will. I don't. I can't. I won't do it. I won't be running. If Donald Trump wants to run and he's willing to take the pay cut, that's really good. But not on this end, not with it. Well, here in New Hampshire, if you're a state representative or a state senator, I think you only get $100 or $200 a year. So, Well, yeah, that would be kind of a huge pay cut for me, too. But they get to be normal people when they're not at the State House, which is a good thing. Looks like we have a call, but we'll get to the call right after the break, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up. with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
Rod Eccles. And we are back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am still your lovable host. And as promised, it looks like we have a caller on the line, 717. Welcome to the Rod Eccles Show. We'll get to you right off the bat. What's on your mind?
This Billy Van Horn. How you doing, Rod?
Hi, Billy. How are you?
I'm doing great. I just wanted to make a couple real quick comments. First of all, love your show. Let them have it. Keep letting them have it because you're telling the truth. And, you're talking about Hillary. You know where she gets that mindset from? It's from the Communist Party. The Minister of Propaganda, Joseph Goebbels. Then he got, Hitler took it from him. Before him, it was Vladimir Lenin. They all said, a lie told often enough becomes the truth. And that's what they think. That's how they think. And,
that is true. That is in the part of the rules for radicals and the Communist Manifesto. But here's the problem with that today is that back then when that was originally first taught and first came about, the early part and mid part of the 20th century, there was not immediate access to recorded devices. Today we have multiple devices. We catch a person on multiple video channels, and we get them on multiple audio channels, and we get them saying a particular thing, and then they look us dead in the eye, or dead in the camera, which is the same thing as looking us dead in the eye, and say, no, I didn't say that, or no, that is not true that I said that, and then we go ahead and we replay what they play, or what they said, and they still tell us that they didn't say it. Now, I think it's something other than rules for radicals here. I don't. And you have some people that eat this up and say, yeah, see, they didn't say it. But
it is something other than that. That's why I say the liberal mind, the communist mind, is a mental illness. That original saying was founded and first said by who is known as the father of psychology, William James. And he said, there's nothing so absurd, there's nothing so absurd that if you repeat it often enough, people will believe it. That's coming from the father of psychology. It's a mental illness that these people just say, well, I'm going to believe what I want to believe, and, that's not his voice, and that's not them, and they never said that, and, the Pope didn't say this, and, Hillary didn't say that, and all this kind of stuff. And it's a part of it's the mental illness of liberalism. It has been proven to be a mental illness where there's no remorse, there's no consequence, and they think that what they are doing, lying, whatever, cheating, stealing, voter fraud, that it's all for the common good. And that's a mental illness because it's the exact opposite. But anyway.
But it's a mental illness that's driving us sane people insane.
It is. And that's why we have to keep preaching the way you are and telling the truth, and the way the Donald's out there telling the truth, and not, standing back, but standing up. And that's what the rest of America has to do. And brother, you are doing a great job getting people to listen and go, wow, that's right. You should have heard me listening to your show last night. I was like clapping, laughing, cheering, So, it's just keep preaching it, brother, because people are starting to wake up. They're actually starting to wake up. Not many, but
I'll take a trickle, because a trickle can turn into a waterfall.
That's right. That's right.
So,
That's right.
But I appreciate the kind words. I really do. I don't know how to be any other way. I'm sorry. I really don't. I'm just straightforward and blunt and honest. I don't know how to be. That's how I guess, my mama raised me that way. I don't know how to be any other way.
Well, you shouldn't be any other way, because then you wouldn't be you. And it's great. I'll let you go. Keep on letting them have it, and slap them right in the face with reality and the truth.
Thank you very much.
God bless you, my brother.
God bless you. Great talking to you.
Yep.
I do. I absolutely. And at this particular juncture, no, look, I have said this. I don't hide anything. Donald Trump. Let me be very clear. Donald Trump is a business and financial idol of mine, and he has been since the 1980s. I have always looked up to that man financially and in business. No, he's not perfect in that aspect either. But I have always looked at this guy as being somebody who was straightforward, who knew how to conduct business, who was a great negotiator, who almost always got what he wanted the way he wanted it. And he got things done. He got things done in business. I mean, some people said, well, yeah, he took his daddy's millions and turned them into billions. Well, there are a lot of people who take daddy's millions and then go broke. This guy took daddy's millions and made a lot of other people wealthy. I mean, so that's why I listen to him now. He's always been this way. He's no different now than he was in his younger days. He's still the same. It's just now he's got a bigger microphone because more people know who he is. But he's still exactly the same. He still talks and says what he believes. So when he gets into the presidential race, I'm not saying that I am going to endorse or support Donald Trump for president. I don't know that. But what I am saying is what he said on immigration was the absolute truth. And he's not folding or backing down from it. And this is something, and look, and because he's not folding or backing down from it, he's rising tremendously, and just about every time they take a new poll, Donald Trump is, surging. And you have all these idiotic, polished presidential contenders in the GOP who are trying to say, the only one that I've seen so far or heard so far that kind of backed up Trump is Ted Cruz. He's the only one. Now, maybe there have been others. I just haven't heard what they've said yet. But so far, all the others that I've heard comment about Donald Trump, they've been kind of backhanding him and slapping him and calling him, uncouth and uncultured and all that kind of, basically that's what they're saying and all that kind of stuff. So no, he's not a polished politician. And you know what? Thank God for that, because now there is a national conversation about this. And yeah, you hear all these liberal numbskulls calling up and say, well, Donald Trump's a racist. No, Donald Trump is not a racist, because he did not say, if you listen to what he said. And what the media is saying that he said is not what he said at all. And that's pretty typical of the lamestream media doing that kind of stuff. Now, he didn't say what they're saying he said. He did not say all Mexicans. When he was on doing an interview with Don Lemon, I do believe. And, he was taking Don Lemon to task. He's saying, look, Don, the stats are this and the government stats are that. And women are being, raped and this kind of stuff. And Don Lemon says, yeah. I know. I read that kind of stuff. It was about women being raped. And Trump, without missing a beat, said, well, basically he was saying, who the hell's doing the raping, Don? They're not being raped in a vacuum. Somebody is committing the crime. Who's committing the crime, Don? And he was like a deer in headlights. Oh, you're not supposed to ask that question. Because Don Lemon was trying to be erudite and smart, trying to prove that he was more brilliant than Donald Trump, and he got slapped hard for being an idiot. Yeah, that report, those reports, they're just about women being raped. Well, yeah, but they're not being raped in a vacuum. Somebody is doing the raping. Somebody is criminally touching and controlling these women. Who's doing that? Well, Donald Trump was pointing out to government stats from people coming over the border. So, this whole notion that they're trying to make him out to be which is totally asinine. And now the new thing is that, One Trump Plaza was built on the backs of illegal immigrants. Another freaking lie. Now, first of all, Donald Trump was the contractor in trying to get these buildings, put up. He doesn't own the construction companies. But they are not a bunch of illegals. You go to a Donald Trump construction site in the United States, you're not seeing a bunch of illegals running around on the rafters, putting up an inferior building. Look, I know of a company in Massachusetts right now who hires illegals. They know they hire illegals, but they donate to some of the big Democratic liberals in Massachusetts, so it's okay. Look, there's a gentleman in this company who has been caught and deported twice before, and he's back working for the same company again. They know he's an illegal. So don't tell me about Donald Trump, some of his subcontractors or contractors out there possibly hiring an illegal when you've got liberal Democratic donors owning companies here in the state of Massachusetts who are knowingly hiring illegals, not once, but thrice. The guy's been deported twice. How the hell does he keep coming back? I think there's a disgruntled employee that's about to take that company to court over just such a thing. So I'm not mentioning any names, the name of the company or anything, because there could be some legal litigation that comes about pretty soon. So that's got to work its way through the courts, and naturally, I'm not going to get dragged into that. So. Names, until that stuff hits the press and hits the papers, I'm not going to mention any names. But, there might be somebody listening who knows exactly who I'm talking about, and that's fine. But I understand through the grapevine that some legal action could be coming down the pipes for this. And it could be, I don't know, it could be, and it's nothing that this company can now hide. So even if there was a raid on their human resources department tomorrow, they couldn't hide all of this. It is what it is. But to go after the Donald, how many times have we had? It's on both sides. But how many times have you had, especially these big liberal Democrats being caught, rich Democrats being caught with an illegal housekeeper? That was the big, was it in the 90s? Remember that? Wasn't that the big thing? Somebody trying to catch somebody with an illegal immigrant who's working as a housekeeper or a groundsperson, gardener or pool boy or something, right? Under their private. Didn't they try to pin that on a Mitt Romney once? Yeah, Mitt Romney employed an illegal immigrant, legal alien as a housekeeper in one of his houses. I think they tried to pin that on him once too. I mean, really? So this is what they have. This is what they have against the Donald. Trump Tower, man. No, Donald Trump employed. No, Donald Trump did not employ. But they were working on it. Well, yeah, and there are a lot of companies that do the same thing. If the Donald knowingly had some illegal aliens, then his company should pay the penalty for it. I'm not dismissing that in one way or another, but basically what he said was absolutely true about open borders. And we see what happens when that guy out in San Francisco who killed an American citizen, a female. These sanctuary these sanctuary. You have a. What is really kind of freakish. Now, let's just take a step back for a second. I want you folks to think about something here. You have these municipalities that call themselves sanctuary cities, or sanctuary towns, or sanctuary counties, whatever, sanctuary areas. San Francisco is one. Now, this flies in the face directly against federal law. against federal law. Now, let's just take, is it Oklahoma? Let's take Oklahoma for a second. You've got I think it's the governor of Oklahoma is saying, well, I'm going to defy the Oklahoma Supreme Court judge who says that we got to take down the 10 Commandments from government property. We're not doing it yet. We're going to wait until this whole appeal process is over. We're not doing, because the judge saying it's got to come down now, and the governor saying we're not touching it. Now, this governor is being lambasted louder and harder for defying a judge about a statue that lists the 10 Commandments of some. Just read the 10 Commandments. Some of the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not lie. Basically, George Carlin, rest his soul, once said you can't have the 10 Commandments hanging in a courtroom or on government property, because it's thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not lie, all this stuff. It creates a hostile work environment for judges and lawyers. So, that's why George Carlin says all that stuff has to be removed. But understand that Oklahoma and the governor is being hit harder than the sanctuary cities are for defying the federal immigration laws that have led directly to and indirectly to the death of an American citizen. And she's not the only one. I mean, I know Sean Hannity was trying to talk to a few people, but there are numerous Americans that have died at the hands of illegal immigrants that should still be alive today if we only paid attention to our own immigration laws and clamped down our borders. They'd still be alive. Most of them would still be alive. Hey, defying a judge's unconstitutional order to take down a monument on government property over a trumped-up charge, that's more important than dealing with the reality of American citizens dying at the hands of illegal people illegally crossing into this country who could have been stopped. That's the sad part. They all could have been stopped, or most of them could have been stopped. So most of the people that they harmed and killed or raped or robbed or kidnapped or God knows what else they've done to them, they wouldn't have had that happen to them if our government and these stupid sanctuary cities would have only followed the law. The law that's on the books that has no interpretation that's needed. It's not as if the laws on immigration in this country need a judge to interpret it. You don't. They're pretty straightforward and pretty plain and pretty clear. And all of these sanctuary areas are openly defying the law. So I don't want to hear, until you clamp down in every single one of these 300 plus sanctuary city areas, I don't want to hear anything about the Oklahoma governor saying we're going to wait for all of this to go through all the courts, Supreme Court and all that kind of stuff. We're going to wait for that. Because you don't have a leg to stand on. Because what happens, because here's the whole thing. I know this is why they're doing it this way. This judge is doing it. You got to take it down now. Because what happens if Oklahoma appeals, goes through all the appeal process, and then, say, it gets to the U.S. Supreme Court, and the U.S. Supreme Court says, no, I can stay. Well, now they got to put it back up. It's going to cost money, so it probably won't go back up. So this governor's smart. No, we're going to wait. We have a right to appeal, and we're appealing it, so it's going to wait. Well, no, you got to do it. No, you don't. It's on appeal. It's kind of like, in most cases, if somebody gets convicted of a serious crime, they go to jail. If there's an appeal, they're going to stay in jail. But however, if a person is not in jail and they're appealing something, then you can't throw them in jail. If they're allowed to stay out through an appeal process for whatever reason, you just can't all of a sudden, well, no, go to jail. No. There's an appeal. And, if I lose the appeal, then I go to jail, but not before then. Because how do you get something back that should have not been taken from you. You can't. You can't. I don't. This is just, to me, this is just logic 101, folks. Now, I fully understand to some people it's, it's not, it's not as evident. But for me, it's purely logic 101. It's not complicated. It's not difficult to understand. You just have to use your brain instead of your heart to think with. The heart leads to emotion. The brain leads to logic. Logic will always win out over emotion. And, well, what about, more, emotion gets you going. Yeah, but, well, let's take that for a second. Sure, you can be moved emotionally, and you can have anger and excitement, all that kind of stuff. And, you've been motivated to go and do your best to fight for your country. But in the end, the brain is going to dictate how you fight. Because if you just run out there emotionally like you're going to charge, you're going to get killed. But if you take that emotion and you say, yeah, we're going to win, how are we going to do it? Well, then the logic brain takes over and says, okay, we got to have a plan. We got to have a war plan. That's how you win. You don't win by charging out there willy-nilly with no plan. You'll just get knocked down quicker than you can say knocked down. You can get the adrenaline going all you want to, but unless you have a battle plan, which comes from the brain, which comes from logic, you're dead. Literally and figuratively. So this is the whole notion with where I come. Hey, I can get impassioned. I can be emotional. I can, get all hyped up. But when it comes down to brass tacks and the rubber meets the road, I put my brain in charge. Okay, hey, Mr. Brain, Mr. Logic, if you want to say Spock, go ahead. I don't care. But what is the logic of this situation? The logic of this situation is this. That's how you have to proceed. And, this is how, well, I guess if you have a mental disorder, you cannot see logic. Because your mental disorder prevents you from seeing. I gotta tell you, he's right. It's liberalism is a mental disorder. I can, you try talking to a true diehard liberal, and I'm scratching my head because I literally look at them and think, somebody cannot really be that dumb. It's kind of like The Emperor's New Groove, right? When the Lama, when Cusco is looking at Yzma, and he's wondering because she's so old to him. He's like wondering what is keeping that woman together. She's so old, she should just be melting away. He's wondering I kind of look at these liberals with the same type of thought process, and I'm thinking, how can they be that dumb and still function? Because it's to the point where liberalism is more than just a mental disorder. It's dumbfounding. I mean, I guess you could to a point you could say, well, it's kind of mongoloid idiocy. But that would be a disgrace and disparagement to people who actually have that disease, that mental illness and disability. But that's basically what it is. Really, I mean, you can't. Yeah, I can't explain it. There is no logical explanation whatsoever for liberals to be liberals. There is none. I know that there are people out there that have tried to explain it. There is no logical explanation for it because none of it makes it. I do not. How do you explain that by taxing the rich more? How does that improve the life of a poor person? It doesn't. It never has and never will. So why do we keep going there? If you keep trying the same thing over and over again, and every single time you try it, it fails, why do you keep trying? Because that's insanity. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and over again, but each time you do it, you expect a different result. That's the true definition of insanity. So yes, these liberals keep doing the same thing over and over again. They are insane. So yes, I would have to agree. It is nothing but a mental disorder.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here. But then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day, discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
You know, this whole notion about liberalism being a mental disorder, it sort of bleeds over into what we're seeing going on now. We have this totalitarian state mentality that is starting to happen, and we're starting to look. You have people out there, even though Trump is telling the truth, and he isn't saying all Mexicans are criminals. We have people out there on the left who are saying that he shouldn't have said it at all, that it was racist, that it was disingenuous. It doesn't matter that what he was saying is factual. But he just shouldn't say it, and we see this, with the Confederate flag. And if you listen to the show, you know how I feel about the Confederate battle flag. This whole trumped-up liberal leftist, thing about that flag is just a bunch of bunk. And now we've got you can't. Hey, if you have that flag anywhere, I mean, now if you're Kid Rock. I mean, they're attacking Kid Rock because Kid Rock used to have have one of those flags in that design in his concerts a while back. And now there's he's from Detroit, I guess, and there is a museum display that is running in a Detroit museum that Kid Rock basically paid for. He underwrote. But there's no Confederate flag in there, in the museum display. There's no Confederate flag anywhere in the museum. Kid Rock isn't going around brandishing the Confederate battle flag now. He's not doing that at all. But they're saying that he should denounce the battle flag and he should apologize for using it. And if he doesn't do it, then the museum should take his name off the display that he paid for, And if they don't do it, they're going to picket the museum and cause the museum to, for people not to go to the museum, for the museum to lose money. Again, he's not using it now. He hasn't said anything about it as far as I know. There isn't a Confederate flag within anywhere in the display that he's paid for. There isn't even a Confederate flag anywhere in this particular museum. But you have the liberal left out there running around saying, well, he's got to denounce it and apologize and beg for our forgiveness for using it, or else we're going to force him to pay, and we're going to make it painful for him. And so now you have, even have, Congress getting into the act a little bit by saying national parks. If you have, if you're a retailer, I guess now I just got a lot of this stuff is just flying through my news feed, and I'm just reading before I could, really disseminate it. But there's a story that says that the Congress is saying, well, if you're in a national park system or your national parks and you have a contract with us, retail, gift shops and things, you can't have anything related to the Confederate battle flag, because if you do, you lose your contract. What? Whatever happened to freedom of speech? I mean, I fully understand that, the state governments are wanting to remove the symbol. They should have done that a long time ago. I fully agree with that. But if a person wants to be able to say, there is historical precedence and historical value to the battle flag. Like it or not, there is historical value there. It is a part of our history. And this whole notion that, well, yeah, we've got to remove, the wonderful TV show that really didn't show any racism at all, Dukes of Hazzard from TV Land, because there's a Confederate battle flag on top of the General Lee. Oh, yeah, and, the name of the car is the General Lee. Yeah, that's just racist. I watched the Dukes of Hazzard. I don't ever remember them saying anything disparaging against minorities at all in that program. I don't remember it. We're getting to the point now where we have this relativism of liberalism that is totalitarian in its nature and trying to dictate what you and I think and say. And this it's getting worse, folks. It's getting. Oh, by the way, welcome back. It is I, your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto, as long as liberals let it be, is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. It is Wednesday, hump day for some of us, July the 8th in the year of our Lord, 2015. And the number that you can call this evening if you wish to join me live and talk to me live about what I'm talking about here tonight, the toll-free number is 603-835-3224. Again, that's 603-835-3224. You have something that is coming down the pipeline now. Now you are going to have to get permission from the government on what you name your. I wonder if there's going to be any of these wacko flower children that name the kid Redskin. I just want to see if that actually happens. But now you're going to have to possibly have your business reviewed. Your business name reviewed by federal regulators, because a federal judge has just ordered the cancellation of the Redskins football team's trademark registrations. All of them. So basically what is happening is that the federal government is saying, well, we have deemed that the term Redskins is racist and offensive, so you can't use it. This football team is 80 years now? 80 years in the making? And now all of a sudden, the Washington Redskins, and this is from the Washington Post, mind you. The Washington Redskins lost the biggest legal and public relations battle. Yeah, I don't know if it's public relations because most people don't really. Most football fans, including myself, didn't want to see them forced into changing their name. And I'm not even a Redskins fan. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. And I'm just, look, there was remember, was it in the 90s? Was it 80s, late 80s, early 90s? There was a point when you had some animal rights activists who were saying naming a team, sporting team, after an animal was offensive to animal rights people. That it was degrading the animal. So I remember this. I don't remember all the details because it's just so inane. But I remember if you wanted to, the Dolphins. Well, that's the Dolphins. You can't name your team the Dolphins. That's just being mean because Dolphins are gentle, kind people, and you have a football team named the Dolphins, and people think the Dolphins are going to think the Dolphins are aggressive and cruel and they deserve to be killed. This is what they thought. And so now we're told that, this is not the first time. Remember the not too long ago, I think this was also in the 90s, that the term squaw, the word squaw, was being erased from maps all across the country. Everybody, if the Squaw Valley, Squaw Town, Squaw this, Squaw that, if it had the word squaw that was the name of that town, river, county, whatever, everybody was changing it because it was so offensive to name something squaw. Well, but now I understand. Now nobody was being disowned, and you weren't being kicked out of national parks, and there was, nobody was saying you couldn't sell something that said squaw on it. But now all of a sudden, if you have this Confederate battle flag, because it is so evil and so racist that nobody can have anything to do with it, so says the liberal totalitarians out there. And if you run afoul to the liberal totalitarians and you do not want to change your name, which they think is offensive, like Redskins, well, I don't know. But yeah, is the Indians? The Indians? What is it? The Indians next? Any team named Indians going to be next? Braves, Atlanta Braves. Anybody? Well, there's a lot of teams called Braves. Are the Braves going to be next? Remember the tomahawk chop? Was that the Redskins? In the stadium, the tomahawk, every time score or a great play happened, and there was that was called offensive by the liberal totalitarians. I mean, I'm surprised that somebody didn't say. Remember the wave that was big for a while? I'm surprised somebody didn't say that the wave was racist or bigoted towards the ocean or something. Look, these people are totally nuts, and they try. They want to control your speech. We've even heard some Republicans talk about, maybe it's time that we revisit the First Amendment and start restricting some hate speech. The problem is who's going to dictate what's hate speech and what isn't hate speech? Well, I guess Redskins are hate speech, so you can't name your team the Redskins, because if you do, and you've had it for 80 plus years, and you've had, nearly 80 years of protection for your brand, well, and all of a sudden, now you don't have it anymore. So anybody can rip you off. How would you like to wake up one day and everything that you've stood for and worked for, because somebody all of a sudden felt it in their heart that it was just, offensive, that you can't use it anymore and you're not going to get the same kind of legal protection anymore? Think about that for a second. And what's next? The Fighting Irish? Is that? Oh, no, you can't name that the Fighting Irish. That's racist. That's bigoted towards Irish people. Look, don't doubt me on that. That's probably coming too. I don't. Well, it's Notre Dame. Notre Dame is Irish, right? But would they be so if the Washington Redskins? This is what they should do. If they wanted to get around this and throw it back in their face, this is what they should sell a good steak. Don't even just as a goodwill. Give it give a portion of the team. Just pick a tribe. Well, where are the Redskins? Where they're located. Is that close to Cherokee? Old Cherokee territory. That might. I don't know. Cherokee territory. Give a part of the team to the Cherokees. If Cherokee accept it, is that now racist? If Cherokees are calling them Redskins, hey, the N-word isn't racist when black people use it. So is Redskins racist when Native Americans use it? I'm asking the question. I'm not saying that it is or isn't. I'm asking if we go by liberal standards and it's okay for a black person to use the N-word. Is it then okay for a Native American to use the R word? Are we going to call it the R word now? Redskins is not. Yeah, I'm going to be safe. Well, no, I don't have to be safe because I am part Cherokee and Osage, so I guess I can say Redskin. But other people, they can't say it. So if you don't have any Native American in you, Elizabeth Warren, you have to say the R word. Just like the N word, it's now the R word. That's bad. You can't say the R word because some liberal totalitarianist has decided that the R word is racist, bigoted, and offensive. Just like the S word. Well, what was the S word, Rod? Squaw. Squaw. You can't say squaw anymore. It's the S word. Now, the cancellation of the NFL team's business protections is hailed by activists as a huge victory. But however, here's something that's good for them. It doesn't go into effect until the team has exhausted the appeals process in the federal court system. And Redskins president Bruce Allen vowed Wednesday that the team would appeal. We are convinced that we will win on appeal as the facts and the law are on the side of our franchise that has proudly used the name Washington Redskins for more than 80 years. I mean, how do we get to this point? Can somebody this is not enlightenment, by the way. I know some people say, well, this is the 21st century. We're enlightened now. No, that's bullshit. We're not enlightened. This just goes to show how stupid that we can get. And it really, if you just have, this is how this stuff comes about. What happens is that a liberal will get this idea and they will go around until they find someone or something to fit that idea. And if they find that one person or that one thing that fits that idea, they will run with it. It's kind of like, what was that pizza? Memories Pizza. Remember that? No, not too long ago. About, would not cater pizza for a wedding. Would not cater a gay wedding. But see, they never said that. They never went out there and said, nobody ever went in to ask for them to cater any wedding, let alone a same-sex wedding. The activists, were looking for a patsy. And they were going door to door, and they happened to, their shadow fell upon Memories Pizza door and when Memories Pizza's owner said, well, no, we wouldn't do that, they said, aha, we gotcha. So what happened is they went around and said, there's got to be Native Americans around here who think the name Redskins is offensive. So they went around and they asked. And when they found a tribe or some Native Americans who could prove that they are Native American that were offended, they said, aha! See? They're offended by this. It's not that anybody is openly offended or resisting any of this crap. It's that the liberals are running around trying to find somebody in order to fit their pretense so they can make a big deal about it. And when they find somebody that fits that pretense, the lamestream media will fall in lock, stock, it just fall in right behind it and say, see, yes, this is, we want to be a more inclusive society, and this is keeping people from being inclusive. So, yeah, I look at some people and they talk about, well, why does Texas think they have to pass a law that religious freedoms protection? They don't have to worry about that. Oh no. Well, we have people trying to sue different churches and clergy, about forcing them to officiate same-sex weddings, or hey, if you don't do it, then maybe we should take away your tax-exempt status. The IRS should step in and take away your tax-exempt status. Hello, and you try to tell them, hey, blacks don't en masse do not believe that gay marriage is the same thing as civil rights. They don't think so. They don't find that correlation. And then they'll tell you, well, no, you're wrong. You don't understand racism then, and bigotry and civil rights then. And these are white people telling me that I don't understand. Well, I guess, more than 80% of the black community doesn't understand then, because, but no matter what poll you look at or where, if it's put up for a vote somewhere and blacks go to the polls, more than 80, almost kind of like, who voted for, blacks voting for Obama. More than 80% saying, oh, hell no. Plain and simple. And that's just the truth. You could agree with it or not agree with it, but the point is that they do not view it as a civil right. Plain and simple. But, what they'll do is they'll go out and they'll find one, gay person who happens to be black, African American, and say, see, it's a civil rights issue. And then the mainstream media will run around and run with that story. This is a civil rights issue. No, it's not. You made it up. You ran around until you could find one person or one entity or one company that fits the mold that you're trying to portray, and then you run with it and make it sound like it's the majority of everything everywhere. And it's far from it. This notion that Redskins is bigoted and offensive, there is a minute minority, even in the Native American community, that thinks that it's offensive. I mean, most people didn't even know what squaw meant, let alone be offended by it. Hey, the next thing you know, hey, speaking of TV shows that'll probably get pulled, Cosby show's already done. I'm not even going to talk about Bill Cosby. That's just a shocker to me, and it is what it is. But the Dukes of Hazzard gets pulled. Well, next thing you probably, TV Land, if they still have it, or whoever's showing, is probably going to start pulling the Lone Ranger. Tonto is going to be offensive. Ow, Kimosabi. Don't doubt me on this, folks. I wouldn't be surprised if you went around and one day you hear in the news, with excitement. Yeah. Because all I got from there was excitement in the writing of the reporting of them pulling the Dukes of Hazzard from TV Land, and they're going to have the same type of excitement if they pull the Lone Ranger. No more Tonto. Tonto is offensive. Wasn't there a Lone Ranger movie? There was a recent new Lone Ranger movie, wasn't there? Something like it, right? I don't even remember who starred in it. Was it Robert? Was it? No, oh, yeah, it was Johnny Depp was in it. Johnny Depp, yeah, Lone Ranger Johnny Depp. Yeah, I'm surprised Johnny Depp isn't being blasted for being offensive for playing Tonto. Oh, but wait, Johnny Depp, he's a good liberal. I don't. He doesn't often talk about his politics, but he seems to be a good liberal. So that's okay if Johnny Depp plays. He's bringing to light the offensiveness and the stereotypes, the bad stereotypes of Native Americans in his portrayal of Tonto in the Lone Ranger. That's what they'll say about it. But anybody else, no. Tonto does not say how, because Indians don't say how. That's not an Indian word. How? And Kemosabe is not an Indian. That's all made up Hollywood stuff. And they didn't wear all the clown makeup and stuff. That's all bad. Well, Tano kind of looked like a ghost, didn't he? He had dressed up as I don't know. I'm just surprised I'm surprised that they're not picketing theaters that showed The Lone Ranger. I'm surprised we don't have protest from these idiotic liberals at movie theaters that have showed movies that were offensive and bigoted and racist and forcing the movie theater owners to apologize for what the movies that they've shown and to never show a movie like that again. I'm surprised. Hey, Kid Rock is being targeted. How many other musicians are going to be targeted? How many movie theaters? This is not going to stop here, folks. Don't doubt me on it. Don't.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
You know, just as a side note, from the pop stage, Ariana Grande says that she hates America. She said it. She says, and I quote, "I hate America." That's fine. Hey, Ariana, go someplace else. You know, don't. You know, if your fans want to buy your music, well, don't accept the greenback to do it. You know, so but. This is just unbelievable. Liberals are beside themselves. This is their last hurrah, folks. Do you realize it? This is their last hurrah. If they cannot somehow corral the conservative movement to going back to the Constitution and liberty, then they feel that they have lost. And so now that they are really, multiple fronts now. They are firing every single cannon they have. And if you don't believe me, here's a story from the Washington Times. If you thought that they were going to stop with the Confederate battle flag, oh, you were sorely mistaken. No. They're not stopping there. Oh, hell no, they're not stopping there. And in this story from the Washington Times, it proves that these liberal nut jobs, this liberalistic totalitarianism is not waning. It's just building up steam, because now the state flags of the states of Minnesota and Massachusetts are now being deemed as offensive by quote unquote culture critics. What the hell is a culture critic? Somebody who sits around and critiques culture? But yeah, no, I kid you not, folks. This is a real story from WashingtonTimes.com. A close examination of Minnesota's flag shows the central figure to be a white pioneer dressed in work clothes. Oh my gosh! Wearing a wide brim hat. You know, isn't that kind of an homage to the Amish? Now, aren't you being anti-Amish if you don't like farmers and wide brim hats? Or is that okay to be offensive and discriminatory and bigoted towards the Amish? I'm just asking. So he's in work clothes, wearing a wide brim hat and pushing a plow. He is an iconic image of a hardworking, rugged individualist who works alone to chop the trees, plow the land, and protect his home. He's, well, not by today's standards. He can't have a gun. He is looking over his shoulder at the Indian who's being depicted on the flag, who is riding a horse and holding a spear. You know, the Indian can't possibly be hunting for buffalo or something. No. He is holding a spear. The image of the pioneer is a peaceful man who's laid down his gun and is plowing his field, and is juxtaposed with the image of the Indian who may still want to fight. His spear is at the ready, but he seems to be riding away. Well, if he's riding away, he doesn't want to fight. Maybe he's hunting. They did that back then, Well, he wants a fight, but he's riding away. He appears to be riding. How do you fight by riding away? But that's offensive. That could be deemed offensive. I mean, the image... This is from Judith Harrington, an assistant professor of educational studies at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, in a Minneapolis Star-Tribune op-ed. See, you're sending your kids to these liberal idiot nut job colleges who are being taught by these idiot nut job liberal professors. Ms. Harrington says that noting that the flag has drawn criticism from human rights groups for 50 years. I haven't heard of any criticism of the flag of the state of Minnesota. And I lived in Michigan. I think I would have heard about it in Michigan. Yeah, hey, the state over there, our neighbor, Minnesota, they got some problems with their flag. There are people that are criticizing their flag. I think it's, for 50 years. Human rights groups for 50 years have been complaining about the Minnesota state flag. It doesn't stop there. Several state legislators in the liberal state of Massachusetts have called for a redesign of their state flag, which depicts an Algonquin tribal member with a bow and arrow standing beneath a golden sword and other symbols. Ooh. It's no Confederate flag, but our banner is still pretty awful, writes Boston Globe columnist Yvonne Abraham. Now, I got to tell you, I will have to agree with Yvonne Abraham about how bad the emblem of the state of Massachusetts looks. It's just ugly. It has nothing to do with the Indian being ugly. It's just ugly, in my view. It's not a. It's kind of plain. It doesn't. It basically has just three colors, white, blue, and yellow. Versus all these other emblems from most other states, which are multicolor and have a lot more. It's very plain. It's not very pretty, in my view. And it has nothing to do with the Indian. But in any case, Yvonne Abraham says this state was born and has thrived in part because of Native Americans' massive losses. Our flag ought to reflect the huge debt we owe them and a larger sense of who we are and want to be. Sense of who. That's liberal jargon that means absolutely nothing. We need to get a sense of who we are and who we want to be. That's a bunch of liberal BS garbage gobbledygook that means absolutely Jack. Now, look, they're not stopping here either. Now just wait. There are going to be more flags, and it's not just going to be government flags. They're going to be scrutinized now. Oh, it's been set in motion. They're going to try to sanitize this entire country from every bit of offensive, bigoted, racist thing. Oh yeah, if it even appears, whether it is or isn't, even if it isn't, if it just appears to be bigoted or racist, no, it has to go. Like the word niggardly. No, you can't use that word because it sounds too much like a bad N-word. Forget the fact that it doesn't mean anything that the bad N-word means. It just sounds too much like it, so you can't ever use it again. I mean, look, I can't make this stuff up, folks. They will. The only way to stop this. Let me be blunt. Let me be very clear. Let me be Obama said. Let me be clear. This is how you stop this stuff. You stop it at the ballot box by electing people at a local and national level that do not prescribe to this BS. that will not prescribe to this BS. In fact, they will prescribe to the Constitution and your liberty and your rights. And they will demand in courts that judges who are appointed to the different levels of courts are those who interpret the Constitution and not try to write law from the bench or create law or do anything or twist the law. They will interpret it and say this. They will have a constructionist, an originist type of view. Originalist. Isn't that what I said? They'll have an originalist type of view on the Constitution, where they will look at this kind of stuff and say, yes, you might find it offensive, but there's something called the First Amendment. And you are not guaranteed by the Constitution to not be offended. You're going to be offended by some stuff. That's your problem. Too bad. Deal with it. But this person, whether they are offensive or not, in their book, they may not be offensive. They have a right to express themselves. They're not causing harm to anyone by using the name Washington Redskins. They're not causing harm to anyone by flying the Confederate battle flag or selling it. No. Not at all. So if it is offensive to you, well, too damn bad. Get over it. Get past it. Life is offensive. But these people think that they can stamp out offensiveness everywhere. Well, you know what? I'm offended that they're offended. I'm offended that they think that they know what I should be offended over. So what are we going to do about that? Well, I say that we need to wipe out these liberal groups because they're offensive to me. There you go. You know what? Hey, you're offended by the Massachusetts state flag? Well, it is ugly, but you know what? I am offended that you're trying to take away my right to have that flag. So we should get rid of you. Plain and simple. Hey, Confederate battle flag? No, I'll never own one. I'll never fly one. I'll never own a car that looks like the General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard. But I am offended that somebody else wants to tell me if I can or can't have that. So if I'm offended by you doing that, then we should get rid of you. If your answer to the General Lee and to the Confederate battle flag, because it's offensive, is to get rid of it, well, there are a lot of people who are offended by you, so we should get rid of you. I mean, look, let's just use liberal logic, which really isn't logic, but let's just use liberal logic with liberal logic. If they are offended by something that you like, and they offend you by trying to take away your right to have it, well, now you have the right to get rid of them, as they have the right to get rid of what they're offended by. So they're offended by the Confederate battle flag, and you're offended by them trying to get rid of the Confederate battle flag. So yeah, get rid of the battle flag, but after we get rid of the battle flag, then we get rid of you, that liberal group. So now nobody's offended anymore. You know, everybody who's offended by the flag is now gone. So nobody can be offended anymore. Flag is gone and the people who are offended by it are gone. Perfect world in my book. Well, why not? I mean, if you can get a federal judge that can just cancel a trademark for a team that's had it for more than 80 years, well, why not just get rid of the people who are offended because they offend me? Yeah, it's the truth. By the way, did you know that because of Donald Trump's plain speak on immigration, that he is now leading in a poll? He's leading in North Carolina. Donald Trump leads the Republican presidential field in North Carolina, according to a new public policy polling survey, a PPP survey. Trump's momentum just keeps on building, the public policy polling says on its website. Though the poll found Trump drags the bottom of the GOP field among those who could likely beat Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton. Are you kidding me? He would wipe the mat with her. She would never debate him. Oh, actually, Trump is actually, before recently, he has in the past given Clinton's money, donated to them. And so he would be able to say, hey, Hillary, I gave you guys $250,000. What'd you do with it? And he would have a right to ask that. He gave the money, expecting certain results, and they didn't deliver. So hey, what'd you do with it? But he's now leading in North Carolina, and see, this is the problem. Well, how is it that he's leading in the GOP polls, but he wouldn't likely beat Hillary? So, are you saying that if Donald Trump were the nominee, that Republicans would vote for Hillary? Sometimes I don't understand their thinking when they come up with these sorts of analysis. Yes, Donald Trump is leading the pack in the GOP in the polls. More people like Donald Trump than like any other candidate right now. But Donald Trump would have a hard time beating or could not beat Hillary Clinton. Are either we're that outnumbered by Democrats, which we're not, or Republicans would vote for Hillary over Donald, which I don't think would happen. So are they saying that independents, which Donald really appeals to, because they're the ones that also watch TV like The Apprentice and have made it, a top hit for year after year after year, they'd all of a sudden not vote for Donald? When they also agree with what he's saying about illegal immigration? I find that hard to believe. But, hey, who am I? I'm not a pollster. I don't have they may be a pollsters, but they don't have a crystal ball either. In fact, pollsters have gotten polls wrong a lot lately. But it's kind of interesting. Again, it's very early. We're still in 2015. We're not even in 2016 yet, when the election is actually going to be. So we got another. The election's still about a year and a half away. So, yeah, it's way too early. But, although, here's something. Oh, by the way, CVS, the drugstore company, quits the U.S. Chamber of Commerce over tobacco because the U.S. Chamber of Commerce is won't, because you heard about CVS has stopped selling all tobacco products in all of its stores, and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce won't back away from tobacco. So hey, tobacco is not healthy. But here's the problem I have with CVS doing this, and which is why I will not shop in another CVS. Because they're being hyper hypocritical here. Now, what do I mean? Well, let's be logical again. Okay, great. You could spend your money the way you want to. Any company can spend their money the way they see fit. And if they do not believe that their corporate goals are and the goals of the United States Chamber of Commerce mesh, then yeah, they should part ways. I have no issue with that. But their reason for doing it this time is hypocritical. Oh, because the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, they kind of endorse tobacco. They're not getting rid of they don't want to get rid of tobacco. They're not trying to push to get rid of tobacco out of their member stores and that type of thing. Have you been to the junk food aisles, not aisle, singular, aisles, plural, of a CVS store? Now, I guarantee you there is stuff down those aisles that are just as bad, if not worse, than tobacco products. And yet they still want to sell those. So until CVS gets rid of all the candy bars, all of the chemical fragrances, and some of them that are known to be carcinogenic. And until they get rid of the potato chips and all the other non-healthy and fattening goods that people put in their bodies, I don't want to hear about them talking about the U.S. Chamber of Commerce endorsing tobacco products. You're being freaking hypocrites. Go F off. Let's call a spade, shall we? Plain and simple. I know some people out there, well, yeah, Rod, they have it right. Tobacco is just terrible. Really? Okay. Well, if you're gonna go that route, then you might as well go the rest of the way too, because otherwise you're just going to be seen as a hypocrite, because you are. You're going to sell sodas, and you're going to sell, candy bars, and you're going to sell, all these things laden with fragrances and stuff that are bad for your health, that are, some of the stuff is known carcinogens, and you're going to sell drugs. Hey, the drugs that some people get hooked on and die from and overdose from. I don't want to hear CVS talking about that they're better than the U.S. Chamber of Commerce because they stopped carrying tobacco products. It's a fake, a hyper, I'm better than you type of thing, and it's hypocritical, plain and simple. Again, I'm calling a spade a spade. And until they say, you know what, they have a right to do what they want to do, our goals do not seem to be meshing. And until CVS comes around and says, you know what, not only are we not going to sell tobacco, we're not going to sell this junk food either because it's bad for human health. And by not selling it, we'll be helping to bring down the cost of medical care. Until they do that, they can shut the hell up and go away, and I will not shop in their stores because they're freaking hypocrites. Plain and simple. Let's call a spade a spade. I mean, it's just dumb. And no, I don't smoke cigarettes. I think they stink. I hate them. But this whole notion that you're going to be, you're going to turn your nose up and you think you're going to be holier than thou is a bunch of BS. I mean, seriously, let's just be real with it here. If you don't like cigarettes, I don't, fine. If you don't like tobacco products, fine. But don't go preaching about it when hey, it's kind of like the preacher that talks about sin. Hey, this here, out of wedlock sex, that's a sin. And then in the back room, he's doing, his mistress. Cheating on his wife. It's the same thing here with CVS. Sorry, it is. The same damn thing. Hey, I'm glad to see this next story. Time Warner Cable owes nearly $230,000 to a woman it would not stop calling. Aracela King disliked receiving 153 calls from Time Warner Cable. Time Warner Cable, and this is a story from Reuters. Time Warner Cable Incorporated must pay the insurance claims specialist $229,500 for placing 153 automated calls meant for someone else to her cell phone in less than a year, even after she told them to stop. A federal judge ruled on Tuesday. Now, King of Irving, Texas, accused Time Warner Cable of harassing her by leaving messages for Louise Perez, who once held her cell phone number, even after she made it clear who she was in a 7-minute discussion with a company representative. I have gone through this myself. I mean, I've had my current cell phone number for years. And about a year and a half ago, I started getting calls for someone by the name of David, who obviously happened to be a diabetic. I told these people over and over and over again, they had the wrong number. I even put my number on a do not call list. They still kept calling. And then I finally lodged a complaint. They still kept calling until one day I said, put your supervisor on the phone. I said, this is the last time I have lodged a complaint against you. You're on a do not call list. You're going to owe me money if you call me one more time. I haven't heard from them since then. But, hey, good for her. She's getting $230,000. That kind of crap has got to stop, too. Liberals probably might like that. Maybe liberals will robocall me. I don't know. Try it. See what happens. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out of time. We'll be back here tomorrow. Until then, have a great night. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been the Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.